In my hand, I have the M4 iPad Pro. It has been out for 3 whole months. I've used it almost every day as one of my iPads. I've greatly enjoyed it, but there are a few things wrong with it, and I want to get into that in just a minute. But hey, while I got you here, please hit the subscribe button. We are on our way to 10,000, and I want to get there as fast as possible, so you can do your part. Please hit the subscribe button if you find this helpful. Now, I have really enjoyed my time with this iPad, but there are a few things that I wish were improved. But first, I think it's really helpful for us to talk about the things that are good about this iPad. All right, first let's talk about how thin this iPad is. It is crazy, crazy thin. Like when you're looking at this thing, it is just paper thin. Now, what's cool about it is they did not skimp out on build quality. When you're using this iPad, it does not have a chance of bending. If you haven't seen the Jerry Rig Everything channel, he pushes on it with all of his might, and he only gets it to bend after really putting a lot of effort into it. Now, as you can see with the Magic Keyboard case, it does add a little bit of bulk to it. Like if we look at it like that, it is a pretty bulky, chunky boy, which is about kind of the thickness of a MacBook Air. And so if this is gonna be your only device, I would recommend actually getting the Magic Keyboard. But if it's not gonna be your only device, I would actually forego it. Now, I'm gonna talk about this Magic Keyboard for just a quick second. I do not like the fact that this hinge on this Magic Keyboard is just, see these grooves right here? Like that is digging into all of your stuff. It's just, man, not a helpful thing to have those kind of grooves in the Magic Keyboard. Now, the overall feel of this keyboard, it is really good, and the actual keys, they feel awesome. The trackpad feels awesome on this thing. But like I said, if you're only using this iPad as an iPad and not as your only main device, then I would personally just rather take it off the case and use it as this thin and light little device. I do like the new Apple Pencil. I don't like some of the features though. Like I don't always like having it where the pinch feature works, because I don't know if I just like hold a pen too hard, but I always get the little pop-up with the different tools. That's not super helpful for me, but for somebody who's an artist, man, that's super helpful. Now, what is nice with this Magic Keyboard is you just throw it right back on. It's made to take on and off. That's really helpful. But I think overall, build quality on this iPad and on the Magic Keyboard is really solid. And so that's what's good. You're not gonna buy this iPad and feel like it's a lousy piece of junk, or it's not gonna feel like a toy. It really does feel like an amazing device. 3 months later, I have nothing bad to say about the build quality of this iPad. Next, let's talk about the screen. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous screen. It's the tandem OLED screen, and Apple put a ton of effort into this to lay 2 different layers of OLED screen onto each other so that the peak nits of brightness is 1,000 sustained, which is wild. And so this iPad, man, it just looks great. The color accuracy is phenomenal. The whites look really white. The blacks look really inky, dark blacks. And you don't get a lot of cast of a green or a magenta on it. It's just very, very color accurate. As you can see, it has, I don't know if you can really see it in the screens that much. It looks super smooth in real life because it has the ProMotion display. It's just buttery, buttery smooth, which I really like. Now, I do actually believe that most people, they get used to their screen pretty quickly. And so if you're buying this just for that 120 hertz, I don't know if it's totally worth it. I personally would go either with the M2 iPad Air if like screen quality is not that important with you, but also going, I've said it in all of my videos so far about this, but also going with the M2 iPad Pro where it does have the ProMotion, but you're still getting it for about the price of the M2 Air. That's kind of worth it. So the screen is awesome. If you're gonna get this thing, like you're just gonna be super happy with it. Screen's great. Next, the speaker quality on this iPad is really good. As you can see, there's 2 speakers right here, and if we flip it over, there's 2 more speakers on the bottom and the USB-C port right there. Now that USB-C port, it can actually do external monitors and it can do external storage options, and so it is a very, very helpful USB-C port. Now, as far as the speakers go on this thing, it sounds so stinking good for the size of an iPad that it is. You would think with this level of thinness that it would not sound good, but man, Apple's done some crazy magic on this thing. It sounds fantastic. Now, if great speakers is something that you absolutely need, the cool thing with iPads is you can hook up your AirPods to this. And so using AirPods Pro, that's a fantastic way to get fantastic sound out of something this small and this light. Next, let's talk about the cameras on this one. They did get rid of one of the cameras, which to me is totally fine. I'm not using iPads to take pictures with all the time. I do know some people have said that retail stores use iPads with cameras a lot. That's not the majority of people buying this thing, and so if you're buying it for a camera, you probably shouldn't, but it does still have a camera on the back, and so if you're scanning documents, that's still gonna be helpful for you. As you can see, it's got the 3 dots on the bottom. That's how it connects to the keyboard and gets its power and all that. So overall, just the quality of this device, hands down, all of the hardware, it is amazing, absolutely amazing. But some of the software is a little bit interesting. When you're looking at iPadOS 18, they did not do enough to me to make this your one-stop device. Like, it is not as powerful as a MacBook Air. and it's around the same price, especially once you get the Magic Keyboard or the pencil. And so for a lot of people, they could use this as their only device, but man, there are just gonna be times where you're gonna run into situations where you're probably gonna need a computer, so maybe having a Mac Mini around or building your own little PC. There's just some situations where you are not gonna be able to do everything you need to do on iPadOS. Maybe you can, some people can, and then they figured out some weird little workarounds, but like, I don't like the file system on this thing. There's just a couple of things where it feels a little bit too clunky. But one of the great things about Apple products is you can purchase this and try it out for 2 weeks. If you get it back to them within the 14-day window, they don't really ask any questions for why you're returning it. And so you can try it, get it, try it with your use case, with your workload, and if it does work, then keep it. If it doesn't, return it and get a MacBook Air. So do I recommend the M4 iPad Pro? Absolutely, I do. It's a fantastic device. However, with that M4 chip, it is a really interesting thing that Apple decided to go with the iPad for the newest M4 chip, whereas the MacBooks and all that, they only have the M3 chip. You're not going to saturate this chip. You're not going to use it to its full potential. And so I sometimes recommend people, if you don't need to go with the bleeding edge of technology, like say you're not somebody with a tech channel or somebody who's a tech enthusiast, maybe go back to the M2 iPad Pro or even the M1 iPad Pro. Both of those work fantastic and you're still not saturating the chip. But for people who are creative, for people who, you're using this thing to the edge of the device, I still think even then you probably might want to go with a MacBook Pro. But if you really want to get the most out of this, you want to get the most amount of years of coverage, the M4 iPad Pro, it is a fantastic device. I do wish Apple didn't mess up the hinge on the Magic Keyboard and it was a little bit smoother so it could be around other stuff in your bag. So those are just some small complaints. Overall, it is great. I don't have very many complaints, just those few. Hit the like on this video if you found it helpful, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments, did you get the M4 iPad Pro? And if so, what did you think of it? I'll see you guys in the next one.